Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. Truth bombs that many never knew. We talking politics, everything up to the moon. Was the landing real or fake? I guess you'll never know. Let's talk, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, yeah. So lend me your ear, let's get it poppin'. You know that we keep it live, non-stopping. Educating, entertain, there ain't no doubt. After you listen, you'll be thinking way outside the box. From media dishonesty, never let them play you. Keep it authentic nowadays, many can't do. Unfiltered is how we do it. Make sure you stay locked in and tuned in, let's go. Had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. The Nate and Garrett Show.
And now, welcome to the Nate and Garrett Show. Prepare yourself to be transported to the furthest reaches of reality. As the hosts unravel the mysteries of the universe, the depths of the deep state, the truth hidden in plain sight, all while bringing you the news from this week. Please welcome your hosts, Nate and Garrett.
Hey.
Hi, Nate.
Hi,
everybody. Well, guys, we've been talking about it for a while, but we are going to commit to a schedule finally. I know we're just going to come on randomly. It's nice that you guys are able to find us, but I think it'll be easier for us and you if we get on more of a schedule. So for right now, we're going to do Mondays and Thursdays, 10 o'clock Central. And we're going to try to be more prompt, and we think it's going to be really good. I think it's to help us grow, too. So.
Yep, and then I think that often we'll end up doing a Saturday night show.
Yeah, those weekend shows are so fun. It's just hard to commit to giving up a weekend. I mean, we both have a lot on our plates and stuff anyway. But yeah, I'm sure
we'll randomly do weekend shows. Yeah. But yeah, Monday and Thursday at 10.
And we're trying to cut down our shows to more manageable times too, because we keep going really long. So if we start going over, we're going to start adding shows to that too, because we really do want to bring back a lot of the segments that haven't been doing as much because we don't have time for it. So we're hoping getting on a schedule is going to help us with that too.
Right.
But we obviously want to get back to the conspiracies. We want to start doing the medical marvels more that we've been talking about. We got a lot of those in the shoot right now. We just can't get to. Everything's just moving really, really fast. So it's hard for us to squeeze everything in these quick little shows we're doing. But for right now, Mondays, Thursdays, 10 o'clock Central, with a decent amount of bonus shows in there too. So,
yeah. So I feel good about the schedule, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, we've been talking about it for a long time. It's even going to be nicer when we finally get the studio.
Yeah, that'll be great.
I think hopefully that one, when COVID dies down and the economy goes back to normal a little bit, it's going to help too.
Well, will that happen, Garrett?
I don't know. God damn. This 2 weeks is now turning into a year. Biden basically ran on the platform of 100 days. Give me 100 days. You wear a mask for 100 days. I'll get this under control. This guy's got no plan. And there's hundreds of thousands of Americans dying, and he's golfing. So then right after he takes office, he's telling us that we're going to be wearing masks into the next year and that there's nothing any human being can do to change the trajectory of this. How is that not impeachable? How is lying just like that, just blatant lying, not impeachable?
Oh, that's just par for the course now.
That is just, you know what? People have got to demand better. You know what it is? It's just a symptom of him having an earpiece in and reading off whatever they tell him or whatever his giant billboard tells him to say. This is them knowing this is how we're going to get him elected by him saying this. Then we're getting him in here. And even though he called Trump a dictator for having some presidential decrees, now we have him signing over and over and over without going through the proper channels. I mean, it's crazy, the hypocrisy we've seen so far and the lies that we've already seen. And nobody is holding him accountable.
People at this point, people just kind of expect that from these people. And it's obvious that Biden doesn't care what he's ever said. You know what I mean?
But
that's just politicians in general. That's all of our politicians are like that.
You know, the bad thing about that is it turns into a scapegoat. we're already seeing Democrats stepping away from Biden, saying, well, he's still better than the egotistical maniac we had before. Like,
right.
You know what? Quit making excuses for voting for a piece of shit to run the country. How about you hold him accountable when he's up there lying? How about you hold the news accountable for not going and showing you this? It's at some point the buck has got to stop with the individual red versus blue team bullshit that we have going on right now. It's just killing the nation.
Oh yeah, we're in big trouble.
It's just not stopping.
But I want to make a point about, he said 100 days of the masks. And then like that lasted 2 days. And he said, well, all year. Perry has a boner. Is Perry live right now? Oh my God, Garrett.
We can't compete with that.
Yeah, we just have to turn off the stream and go watch Perry.
Or just play it in the background.
But, the 100 days lasted like 2 days. And then he changed it to the rest of the year. And I've been saying since the 2 weeks, I've been saying this is forever. And I think it might be.
And they acted like just until this blows over. You'll hear liberals say that all the time. Can't you just stay home until this blows over? It's not blowing over. You don't understand anything about immunology and virology. You think this is just blowing over. And the big magical light at the end of the tunnel that they kind of had was the vaccine. Just wait for the vaccine. Right. Vaccines take 2.5 years at minimum. Yeah, but just wait. Money isn't as important as death. Now, by the grace of fucking God, we have a vaccine. What is it? 15% of Americans now are vaccinated. How many are going to be eligible and want it? I mean, that's got to already be a third of the amount of people are probably going to get this vaccine.
I think way more people don't want it than they expected.
No, especially when they say, go ahead and take this, but you'll need 2. Oh, now maybe 3. Oh, probably seasonal. Oh, but you still have to wear a mask. Oh, and you still can't travel. Right. Oh, and you still have to stay away from people. What's the point?
Yeah, why am I getting
What's the point?
Oh, you can still catch the disease. You can still spread the disease.
Oh, and you can still
spread it. Who wants a vaccine then?
Well, if I could spread it, then why do you care if I get it or not?
Oh, well, the symptoms will be slightly less harsh. Well, all it is the sniffles anyway, if you're under 70. So it doesn't hurt any young, healthy people. Why the hell would young, healthy people get this?
It's getting harder and harder to not be really angry at all of this. And then you see Florida, who's doing better than almost any of the populated states, and they're getting demonized because they're basically getting back to normal. And their outcomes are way better than New York, better than California.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that they're getting demonized. And Biden, on top of that, is talking about restricting travel to and from Florida. This is a United States that he is trying to tell people they can't travel to or from. When President Trump cut off air travel from infected areas, he called it racist and said he can't be doing that. And he fought it.
The point you made about Florida, I think is really interesting because they're completely open, no masks. Businesses are open. People are having fun together. Remember when you used to get together with your family and friends? Well, there's a magical place called Florida where you could do that. And I mentioned on the last show that Nepal was too poor to continue their lockdown, okay? So they just opened up and instantly cases dropped. Everything's way better. They say it's basically over in Nepal. And that's because they just said, screw it. That's what you have to do with this kind of thing. We can't fight a virus by putting on a mask, avoiding each other. It's just really stupid.
Mask that, yeah.
Putting on a cloth.
Who was the country? Wasn't there a ruler of some country that came and basically said the World Bank was going to offer them a fuck ton of money, but they had to basically admit they had to shut down and close up the economy and everything.
Yeah, I remember that.
Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, I think it's true.
A world leader came out and said it.
They offered him.
It's definitely
$500
part of
million
a world agenda.
Absolutely.
And we have a red versus blue thing. Well, in this case, it's straight up blue. Blue people are really turning this into a team mentality, and they never want this to end. I'm convinced they want to be miserable together, and this to never end.
I do too. We've talked about COVID cheerleaders since the beginning, and it's evident that they are rooting for COVID.
You know, Team Blue is really good at slacktivism anyway. Quick, change your profile picture to a fist with a black background. You just saved racism. Good job.
Yeah, you're right, dude.
So they're really good at slacktivism. What better way to be a slacktivist than to do nothing, put on a mask, take a picture of yourself with a mask on, put it as your profile picture, because you can't take off your fucking mask and take a picture and sit and talk about how we're not getting enough handouts.
And simultaneously, they get to be dictators because they make you do it too.
Yep, they're mini dictators.
So they love that.
Because they're sitting home being pieces of lazy shit. And if you're not, you're the problem. You're the reason that they have to stay home. Not because their local government, who they voted in, is being a legit, literal dictator. It's you going out and living your life. You're the reason in their minds that they can't leave their basements.
Yep. And at the same time, they get to ignore all consequences of the lockdowns. It doesn't matter that millions of people are going to starve to death. It doesn't matter that everybody in America is losing their jobs, that the economy's getting crushed. I mean, there's going to be big problems from this shit, but they're just blind to that because the only deaths that matter are COVID deaths. Maybe you should put your slim. I should. I got that. Should. I'm going to grab it again.
We got to get some video of that, by the way.
Yeah.
But man, I hate that. You could tell you're scrolling through social media and there's some dipshit with a mask that's as big as their face. And they're sitting there with is that their profile picture? It's like, God damn it. I hope that mask starts on fire.
Yeah. See, I love Florida. On the last show when we talked about this, Garrett, you mentioned that maybe it will be kind of red states will open up, blue states will be horrible, dictator, communist hellholes. Yep. I hope you're right. Because at least in that case, the red states will open up. I would love that.
You know what really sucks about the Republicans losing the Senate and the presidency, of course, is that now there's going to be no consequences for these blue states doing nothing because they would have lost a lot of tax revenue and everything.
You're right.
But
They'll
now
just steal it from the red
government's
states.
just going to take it from us
and
give it to them. And you'll hear all the time, California loses money to taxes. They're always subsidizing the red states. Whatever. Get back to fucking work. Get back to normal life. Quit being pussies.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it will become if that happens, where all the blue states aren't working and the red states are, and the government's basically stealing from the red states to prop up the blue hellholes, then I think it will be an actual good reason for like Texas to secede. I would love that. I would move there if they were going to secede and just live by the Constitution and have an actual free state. How great would that be?
Yep. The first stimulus bill did, and I thought that even that first stimulus bill was unneeded. They just needed to open up because there's no hiding from this. But the first stimulus bill was at least went to the people, went to small businesses, which kept people hired. The people that couldn't stay hired, it raised the unemployment by 600 a week, and it caused a lot of issues with that. But the second one was kind of the same, but it started going to some weird stuff. This third one they're talking about is as big as the other ones, and it's basically just going to like local states and governments and stuff.
Yeah, why
they
not?
have like an extra, $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 per person. That's not going to help anybody.
No, but at the same time, they'll print 800 trillion.
Yes,
give it to
yes.
California.
It's not going to businesses. It's not going to help opening stuff up. It's basically just going to these blue states that are shut down.
There's no way that these won't cause big problems eventually,
Yep.
Kenobi said that they were already talking about seceding because of the ag industry. That would be super great.
Yep.
Obviously, I agree with Miggles. I despise Newsom and I despise Cuomo.
Oh, that would be true. But it's kind of funny. We talked about this too. We're going to see more scrutiny on signatures and mail-in ballots against Newsom than we ever did for the presidential election.
Oh, yeah. Duh. They didn't even look at signatures for the presidential, and they've already said that they will for the recall.
Yeah, but it does look like they do, or they're going to have enough signatures, even with them throwing out 10% of them to recall Newsom. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
That would be awesome.
And this Cuomo thing's kind of not going away either. So
I would be shocked. I would be shocked if these two things happened because it would resemble justice in America, and I can't imagine.
Never face consequences.
Yeah,
ever.
exactly.
Hunter Biden got caught with basically child porn on his computer. No consequences. I mean, they got caught taking basically bribes from foreign countries to get to Biden. No consequences. In fact, the media won't even report either of those. I mean, it's just crazy what people get away with. And we're seeing that too with the GameStop that we're going to talk about here in a bit too. Not only the no consequences for the true dirty deeds that actually happened, it looks like they're going to beat the retail investors on this, meaning you and me and the small guy. They're going to make it harder for you to invest and punish you.
Yeah, I know that.
Rather than the collusion between the SEC and these big hedge funds. And these hedge funds basically having the market makers rig the markets. So they're not going to get in trouble. It's going to be you who's going to be needed protection. It's going to be about protecting and saving the children. That's what it's going to be.
That's the I'm from the government and I'm here to help, where they just end up being horrible.
I'm going to break your leg and give you a really shitty crutch. How's the Cuomo? I don't understand how that Cuomo thing is just coming to light. I don't know. I mean, they've known about it for a long time, and it seems like
I've been saying it since the beginning.
Yeah, he changed his answer to, well, it's their fault. He basically blamed the medical field for accepting it, and then his aide came out and basically told on him.
Thank God. But I've been saying since the beginning, can anyone make sense of this? Why did they put COVID patients in the nursing home? It's obvious that they wanted to inflate the death numbers in order to enforce the lockdown. I think
they were on Team COVID. It was the easiest solution. They probably didn't know what to do with them. Nope, go back to the nursing homes. They're thinking, people are on death's door. They can go on CNN and see how much they got the death counter there constantly. And they knew they were going to get federal aid, and they wanted federal aid because they were the first ones to get hit hard. The media, they kept showing us China, where they had the crisis actors falling over in the streets dead from COVID, which we now know that's not how COVID works.
You don't think that was real, Garrett?
They'd be crawling to the hospital and just died before they got to the hospital. And they'd put them in a body bag and just carry them away. And then they were showing us Italy, and they were showing people not leaving their little apartments, but still just lines outside of the hospitals of body bags dead. They don't know what they're going to do with the dead. Are they going to burn them? Are they going to put them in a mass grave? We don't know. There's too many.
Yeah.
And then right then's when New York hit. And, that fear porn for the media. They're thinking, hey, this is New York now. This is coming to your front door. And magically, it stops right there.
Dude, when you bring that up.
Stop putting.
Yeah, when you bring up those points, it just becomes more clear to me that this is all just a planned evil coup. You know what I mean? Like the fake actors in China, the Italy fear, all this fear that was thrown on us so that we would stop going to work. They had to justify this, lockdowns, and they've done it. And it's really creepy.
I think it's a mixture of not wanting to admit they were wrong, but also they've turned it into rooting for COVID so much that now they're just rooting for COVID.
Yeah.
And it's still kind of turning in, like I said, a blue versus red issue. This is an issue that there should not be a blue versus red issue. Our Fauci that we should, he shouldn't be lying to Americans on this. He should be fired. He lied about masks. Oh, they didn't want to take away needed PPE. Yeah, but you don't lie about it. You don't lie if you really think it's going to save lives. You're a Merv Evans.
Yeah, I know. He admitted to lying for political reasons.
Oh, he more than once. He admitted to lying about how many people need to be vaccinated to get herd immunity. He now admitted he has no idea. But first he said 60%. And then he changed it to 70%. Then he changed it to 90%. And the reason he did that is because he thought that he could help nudge those numbers up. So he's admitted to lying. He's admitted to lying again.
I know.
The guy now should have no credibility. If he says something, you should know there's a good chance he's lying because he's lied to you numerous times now.
How do they expect us to trust the experts when they keep lying to us, changing their
early
opinion?
On, we had friends that would try to say to us, we were the crazy ones because we were questioning this. And they would literally say, Why would Fauci lie?
Yeah.
Well, now we know. Now we know. And hopefully you learn your lesson. I'm sure you didn't, but hopefully you have some introspection and you learn your lesson.
Yeah.
You know, they're basically asking us to be on house arrest now for going on a year. We're not talking 2 weeks anymore. We're on house arrest going on a year. Tell us to not celebrate with our families. Fuck all of the birthdays and holidays and Christmases. If your grandparents in their 90s, too bad. Stay home. They're asking us to do this. It's time for people to not be so polite with this anymore.
I know it's time to disobey. Civil disobedience is what's needed in this country and in the world.
We've given up enough for your fear. We've given up lots of jobs.
Yeah.
We've given up lots of lives to suicide. We've given up lots of precious time with families, and all because you're afraid. If you're afraid, go out and lock yourself up in a cage. Be my guest.
Yep. It's time to disobey.
Yep.
It's been long enough. Also, I'm convinced that doing what they said has made this much worse. You know, it didn't help at all. It was a horrible choice. The WHO even said lockdowns are really bad, but we're still doing them.
And we're seeing a lot of the European countries have got draconian measures. Some areas have like 1 or 2 cases and they lock everyone down, gives them curfews. And rightfully so. A lot of people are writing from this.
Yeah. And they flee the city. Remember when we saw that all those people fleeing Paris?
The media won't show us this. They want it to think that if you're questioning this at all and you want to go back living your life, that you're the crazy one. You're the Q follower and you're an anti-vaxxer. Yeah. And you're anti-science. All for questioning and wanting to be an adult and look at the risk versus reward and decide what you want to do.
Well, don't question. Where's your virology degree? Don't ask questions. Just do what we say.
You take that timeline out long enough, everybody's going to die of something. We're all going to die. We're not immortal. It just quit trying to dictate my life because of your fear.
Yeah.
It needs to end.
Absolutely. And, dude, it's great because Ned Pepper and Kenobi are both making the point that Newsom and Cuomo are going to get eaten by their own side, which it looks like that is happening. And I think that's super great. You know what I mean? I would love if these people get out.
Here's a problem. And it's a tribe thing. It's a red versus blue thing. Today we're beating the shit out of the blue because they're the ones trying to dictate my life way more than red is. But there is just no self-introspection, though. These people that are fleeing California and New York, how do you think they're going to vote? They're not going to become Republican voters.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just like how there's no true Scotsman. So we see communism destroy countries. Venezuela just recently was one of the countries that Bernie Sanders was telling us that we need to look towards. And now it's fucking wrecked. It's a disaster. But of course, it wasn't true communism. It was destroyed by something else. Just like every other one of these big government places is. Big government always fails. Every government, unless the people are willing to fight for it, always starts morphing into big government. And we're seeing a divide and a split with that right now. And the big government people are not introspective enough to see when California is fucking falling apart and New York is going to be the next one to follow. They're still not introspective enough to see that is the issue. They're going to move to Arizona and they're going to move to Texas. And they're going to turn those into swing states because they're not going to leave their voting habits at home. But there's going to be some other reason. California has got the most natural resources in any state. They have ocean right there. Like, by all accounts, they should be the richest area in the entire world. It's not their voting habits that have turned it into wealth and prosperity. It's the opposite. Their voting habits are killing what should be easily the richest area in the world.
Yeah, you're right. And they do. They just move and then they still vote stupidly.
Yeah. You know, the good thing about Florida is there's enough kind of Cuban descent that sees the dangers of this, at least for now.
They remember real communism.
But what's going to hurt is Arizona is now a blue state. I mean, they have 2 blue senators and they voted Biden, and that was a very important vote. So, I mean, Arizona's basically lost. They're already property taxes were really low there. They're raising those now. They're raising gas taxes now. They're turning into a blue state, and that is even the trend that Texas is going. It's not there yet.
That's what Ned Pepper just said.
We got lied to a lot when it was polls saying that Texas was a coin toss. Nobody did that. That's why Vegas didn't have it as a coin toss. But it's way closer than it should be, and it's only going to get worse.
Yep. It's crazy that they have to flee the shithole that they created, but then they just go somewhere else and create the same problems.
It's always someone else's fault. It's not their shitty voting habits. But
one point I want to make about, so we're saying, look, it's going to destroy the economy. These COVID lockdowns are ridiculous. The masks are ridiculous. Pretty much all this shit is really true, and it's going to lead to millions of deaths. But another point about these lockdowns is how much it is really bad for the children. And I think it would suck ass to be a teenager in 2020 and 2021. It would suck to be like 16 to 19 really badly. But it would suck even more to be like 8 to 12. You don't get to play with your friends.
Think about infants and toddlers and stuff. They think this shit is normal. There's a huge amount of people in blue areas talking about how their infants have not seen another human being, basically outside of their immediate family, and haven't been around other infants. Then what is that going to do for social development, immunology, their immune system? That's a very, very important point of the immune system. I mean, that's probably one of the reasons. That's probably the reason the appendix is for. They kind of call it the appendix, the vestigial organ, all that. There's really good evidence showing that actually stored different flora and fauna that are in your system from different areas. The kids are supposed to be all crawling all over each other, eating dirt, chewing on the same toys, all of that, and it's not happening.
That's how we build an immune system, is interacting with each other.
Yes.
It's like like putting a kid in a clean room, and then we'll just let him out in 10 years. How do you think that'll go for him?
Yeah.
You know? It's ridiculous what we're doing. We're just blind to all the consequences. It's just so stupid.
You'll see somebody will post a video of them, I'm making this up, going to a restaurant, and the restaurant's a little bit crowded. And the comments are like, I can't believe you're doing this. And they're always horrified. Oh my God, they have an infant with them. They literally have an infant with them when infants aren't even affected by this.
Yeah, it's good for the infant to be exposed to other people, you idiots.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm making this point about the kids because I have a sad thing to show.
Yeah,
and this happened recently. You see this?
Oh, Jesus.
If you think this is the only kid committing suicide because of this COVID shit, then you're not paying attention. Suicides are way up.
And you know what? If you go to the comments, I guess I don't know where this is posted, but if this was posted in the mainstream media, they would be blaming anti-maskers for this, because anti-maskers in their minds, even though the studies are showing 97 to 98% of people are compliant with mask mandates and follow it, if they think that 2% of people that won't wear a mask, if they think it needs to be 100% before they're getting out of their houses, well, you might as well fucking throw away the key, because you'll never get 100% mandate on anything.
Yeah, I guarantee you won't, because I'm not doing it.
That's an impossible standard.
Yeah, these people are, they're literally insane, so I shouldn't be surprised.
We talked about there was a kind of, or I can't remember what country, but she went and euthanized herself just because she was dumb to lockdowns and stuff, and there's no end in sight for her. So she's the one that we're supposed to be protecting.
Dude,
she's killing herself.
That's the other part we don't talk about. These old people are locked in a room to die alone. You know what I mean? My grandma's in a nursing home in Grand Island, and she was thrilled that they let her sit in the hallway and talk to one of her friends one day. I mean, they're literally in prison. Like, they didn't ask for this shit.
Solitary confinement in prison for a mass murder is inhumane.
Yeah.
Let alone an elderly person.
They're dying alone in the hospital.
Just wants to go and see their family.
People can't visit them in the hospital. People can't go to the funerals. I mean, that's still going on.
For common sense, get back into this. Put your politics aside and have some goddamn humanity. Quit asking people to give up their lives and give up their happiness so you're a little bit less scared. If you're scared, go ahead and lock yourself away. Quit asking your neighbor to do it. Quit demanding. It's not even asking. Quit demanding your neighbor doing it.
Yeah, that's the real point. You want to wear a mask? Go ahead. Don't make me.
Go and stand in front of a mirror and punch yourself in the balls about 10 times. It's got to end.
Okay, so on this same thread, I want to show this speech by a senior in high school.
I'm Jane. I'm a junior at Agora High School.
Junior.
Almost a year ago, I was super excited to get an early start on spring break, or that's what I thought. School was canceled and I could not have been happier. After spring break was over, school didn't start again. After summer, it still did not start, and here we are nearly a year later. With the introduction of online classes, our academic lives were made a lot harder. We had no motivation and zero social interaction with our classmates. Every new week, I hoped for things to go back to normal, and every week that it didn't, I started to lose hope. We have missed countless days of school, so many school events, rallies, games, and dances. I understand the risk of getting sick, and I've seen the effects of this illness for some. Why is it that other schools, private schools down the street, are open? How come we are told our schools are ready to have us back, but we aren't? I don't understand why nothing has changed.
Because teachers
worse,
don't want to work.
I don't understand why very few care.
It's a big part of it.
I've lost hope. I've given up, stopped complaining about the seemingly endless Zooms, countless Google Classroom assignments, and long boring days.
Oh, really? It doesn't surprise me. It's an opportunity for them to hold out.
Yep. And it's shit that has nothing at all to do with COVID, and it is impossible demands, and they claim they're not going back without it.
Yep. Hang on. Oh, go on.
All right. I say, but now they're also, because some people are just getting together and bringing some groups together and having parents, teachers, coaches, like, let's say a bigger homeschooling pack type of thing.
Cool.
But now that's privileged and white privilege and racist, and now they're trying to stop that. They're trying to get people to stop doing that, even because this Zoom teaching is about bullshit. It's not going to work. You're letting your kids fall behind. You're letting them all fall behind. Don't drag down your neighbor's kids because they're decided they're going to learn and they're not okay with this. Your kids are falling behind. Quit letting them.
The great thing about everything being racist, everything's white privilege, is that now we can all just roll our eyes at it and say, fuck off. I don't give a shit what you say about it. I don't care. And we'll just go straight through it because it's just bullshit anyway. I'm so sick of hearing that crap.
It's going to backfire so much. It's already turning the black conservative into the new punk rock because they're the ones that have the voices now. Where white people will get shouted at for being privileged and racist. Well, they can't do that to the black conservatives. And there's a big growing group.
I know that's why they started turning against black men. You see that? Black men are the white people of black people. That's what they say.
It's starting.
It's like, wow. It's gonna
President Trump.
It's gonna be one person at the end. One ultimate oppressed person. And everyone else is an oppressor.
Despite the media telling you over and over and over and over that Trump was the biggest racist ever, he had more of the black vote than any Republican president for years. Years.
Oh, I know. But don't worry, Biden still won. By magic.
Sure.
On my computer.
Super popular.
Today is my last bit of hope. We need to be allowed back on campus for our school. We are suffering and giving up. The threat of COVID-19 is not the physical suffering for me and my peers, but what it is doing to us mentally and emotionally is far worse. Thank you.
There's another.
So they're going to have to just do it. They're just going to have to do it where the red states open up. If you want to be afraid and you want to live in your basement, go to a blue state. Have a blue state pay you to move there then. And we won't take the stimulus. You guys can have the stimulus to move you guys the fuck out of our states. We'll go back to life. You guys can go and close your borders. We don't care. We'll get back to normal.
I love this idea. That would be great. I support that 100%. If you want to lock me in my basement, you move to California. Fucking idiots. But this girl, I don't know if she said it or if this girl says it because there's two speeches like this. But she says, we were really excited for senior year. I didn't get to have my senior prom. I didn't get to have homecoming. I didn't get to go to dances. Do you remember your senior prom, Garrett?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. So does everyone else in the fucking world, except the class of 2020 who didn't get one. And
they must have missed the video where they could have danced back to back with their arms linked.
That's my favorite video. But honestly, it's really ridiculous what we're doing, especially because this is not a deadly disease. It's certainly not deadly to anyone under 50. It's literally not deadly to anybody under 80.
It's not a non-zero chance of not dying from it. That's literally every disease, though. Almost all of them. Flu's
it's not a non-zero chance of not choking on a cherry pit, but I like cherries.
Yes.
And
driving.
It's risky to live.
Driving's still a bigger gamble for a young, healthy person than COVID.
Oh, way bigger. Suicide's way bigger of a problem, especially now.
Yep.
I think that these people are assholes who are enforcing these ridiculous rules. And I'm pissed off about it.
Yeah, there's got to be pushback.
I'm so tired of it, man. Fuck it.
We were kind of talking before the show that you got tired of it before I did, and I was always a little bit more of the optimist. Looking back, I have no idea why. I mean, when we talked, I told you that Trump had zero chance. They weren't going to let him win.
That's where I was more of the optimist, and you were.
Yeah, but we both knew these lockdowns weren't ending, and we both knew these mask mandates weren't ending, and
get a cut, anything. Yeah, exactly. You can die from anything in this world.
Living's dangerous.
Yep. But in the solution, it doesn't make it better to sit in your basement. That's not a good solution.
No. Oh.
Yikes.
Speaking of corruption, should we move on to?
Yeah, I think we covered that well. Yeah.
In incompetence. Yeah.
Sure.
So you just don't know. GameStop basically triggered. I don't know, you guys listen to the show, you guys know. But they did a hearing on it today. And the hearing, of course, was just a circus. So these people could have their commercials that during time to run, they could act like they're running and know what they're doing. Maxine Waters ran this. She is 82 years old. She doesn't know the first thing about buying and selling stocks. She doesn't know about Robinhood, the app. She knows nothing about this.
Would you say she's a low IQ person, Garrett?
She's
dumb. All right.
Else
surprise.
Aside, she's a low IQ person.
Yeah.
This is a horrible haircut. But it was very clear very early on. So they had a couple of witnesses. This guy here is a CEO of Robinhood, which was very corruptly fucked everyone over. They had somebody from Citadel. Citadel is who shorted GameStop and caused this the whole time. They had Deep Fucking Values, who's also known as Roaring Kitty. He's the one that started this by a year or two ago, saying, hey, this is a great stock. Everybody should be buying this stock right now. But it became, so what happened was this was overshorted. Deep Fucking Values found that out. Everyone started piling on, and it made the stock price basically skyrocket. Interactive Brokers, who's a big hedge fund, they basically admitted 2 days ago that if it wasn't for the corruption of not letting people buy, that GameStop would have went into the thousands of dollars, not 1,000, thousands. And it said that it would have started a chain reaction of hedge funds going bankrupt. I mean, it might have, for real, basically plummeted the whole system.
That's what should have happened.
And Interactive Brokers admitted this on TV more than once. So if you're pissed off because you bought GameStop at the top, you should be pissed off at these guys. You should be pissed off at the corruption, but more likely, you should be pissed off at the SEC. You should be pissed off at Maxine Waters. All of these guys.
And at Wall Street.
And at Wall Street. What they were doing here, this was supposedly to get to the bottom of it. I would say that there was more Democrats than Republicans on this. There were more people over 75 than under 75 on this. It became clear very fast that the witnesses knew way more about stocks and what was going on than any of our representatives. America should be ashamed that these are our representatives. It is a travesty that this is what we have representing us. They're all way too old. They don't know how this all works. So basically, if you don't know, they made it so you could only sell GameStop and not buy it. That plummeted the price. That let the short sellers get out of this, and that killed the stock. So half of the people here talking don't even know what the issue is. Most of them are mad at this guy for not protecting you, the dumb investor in their minds, from buying the stock. They think you had no business buying the stock. They kept calling you amateur investors. And the Democrats are more looking at two things. One, they brought up taxing every trade you do by 1%. That is terrible. That's going to kill the market. The other thing they did is they want the retail investor, you, protected because you're dumb money to them.
It pisses me off so much, man. It's not a free market. If you're doing this shit, it's not a free market.
No. This guy wouldn't let you buy GameStop, causing it to plummet. And they're not mad at him for that. They're mad at him because he let you trade stocks.
Unbelievable, dude. So, unbelievable.
If I had a clip here that showed some of the highlights, I mean, this was hours long. It was the most infuriating thing I've ever seen. I was so angry watching this.
Dude,
I know what's going to happen.
Miggles nailed this dude's fucking shitty haircut. Who?
Oh, I know.
Isn't he a billionaire now? Why is he got this crap?
Wait till you see what deep fucking values looks like. They could be twins. They could be doppelgangers.
All right.
But yeah, go ahead and play it.
Okay.
We'll talk about it, of course.
And I'm the Chief Executive Officer and co-founder of Robinhood. Thank you for the invitation to speak about Robinhood and the millions of people we serve. Almost 8 years ago, Beju Bhatt and I founded Robinhood. We believed then, as we do now, that the financial system should be built to work for everyone, not just a select few. We dreamed of making investing more accessible, especially for people without a lot of money. The stock market is a powerful wealth creator, but half of U.S. households participate in it.
Mr. Staff, I would like you to use your limited time to talk directly to what happened January 28th and your involvement in it.
You know what? I really like that.
So Maxine Waters, that's who's talking there for people that don't know. You can tell she's going to use these in her commercials for re-election, which I don't know why she's bothering. Senate and Congress have a 20% approval rating, 20%, but yet 95% re-election rate.
Right.
That's insane. America should be ashamed, but she's going to bother using that. But yeah, she has some decent sound cuts.
I know that I'm going to end up disagreeing with 99% of what she says, but I like that she cut him off and said, "Hey, sorry to interrupt your commercial for Robinhood, but we'd like you to talk about January 6th.
But here's the problem. Do you remember when they started to really censor everybody on big tech? And we got excited because Ted Cruz went and called the big tech CEOs for a hearing like this. And it's just political theater. Nothing happens of it from it. And that was with the Republican Senate and Trump in the White House. And still nothing got done. What are things going to get done here?
Oh, nothing will come of this.
Investor.
No.
So it's kind of frustrating to watch. But it was embarrassing as an American to see how little our representatives knew about this.
Yeah.
An embarrassment. But yeah, you're right. She at least cut this asshole off.
I'm sure it's the last thing I'll like of her ever, but I'm glad she cut him off to shut him up.
She tries to pin him down about the liquidity issues because they said they weren't having any liquidity issues, but she basically said that's the only excuse you could have for not letting people buy, but I won't ruin the surprise.
All right, I'll play it.
Certainly.
Madam Chair, the witness has the opportunity to give their own testimony.
Excuse me, you are not
time for your questioning.
You are not recognized.
Mr. is the worst. We'll talk about that. I got her.
Please go right ahead and speak directly to the question.
McHenry.
Mr. McHenry, yes, of course.
We created Robinhood to economically empower all Americans by opening financial markets to them.
Yeah, and then you fucked us over.
January 28th proved to be a completely unprecedented event. The spike in trading activity and volatility meant that Robinhood Securities, our clearing broker, had to hold the line and post additional firm capital as collateral to support our clearinghouse deposit demands. To put it in perspective, on January 28th, our daily deposit requirement was 10 times more than on January 25th. As a result, Robinhood Securities, along with many other firms, imposed temporary trading restrictions on certain securities. We began allowing limited buys of these securities the following day, and we have since lifted the restrictions entirely.
games.
There are 2 points I want.
Right. I mean, it's like saying that downplays how much they screwed that stock.
They might as well have just not let you buy.
Oh,
1 to
God.
3. You know what's funny is these centers, they kept calling GameStop game stock.
That's perfect.
At least half the time. GameStop.
Should I keep it going?
Yeah.
I want to make clear
he's about done talking here.
about these temporary restrictions. First, Robinhood Securities put the restrictions in place in an effort to meet increased regulatory deposit requirements, not to help hedge funds. We don't answer to hedge funds. We serve the millions of small investors who use our platform every day to invest.
That's what pisses me. He can say that, but who made money and who lost money? You saved the hedge funds' asses. You can pretend like you didn't, but you did.
Hopefully, they lose all trust and nobody's going to go back to them.
I know. I wish that would happen, but things like that seem to not happen.
I know. Yep. But here's the thing. Like, Wall Street Bets subreddit now has like 9 million people. And you have to show your position when you write up something. So you're basically taking a screenshot. And they're talking about banning you if you have a screenshot from Robinhood. They're very much against Robinhood.
I like that. Good.
Yep. Why would they want to save the hedge funds? They are basically owned by the hedge funds, and they do business with them all the time. They kind of get into it. Citadel, I believe, DZD is better at this one, but I think Citadel is actually like their market maker.
Citadel owns 40% of them or something now.
Yeah, and they own a huge percent.
On top of that, this little dork might have got paid by Wall Street.
Yeah, he's the easiest link in the chain. Like, there was no way out of this. It was already too high. And Interactive Brokers, like I talked about earlier, basically said that this was going to shoot this to thousands of dollars, and it was going to cause a downfall of the entire system, and hedge funds were going to go basically bankrupt. And this is the fall guy, basically.
But I had the same question, Ned, because it looks to me like, why would Robinhood want to help these hedge funds? Isn't their customer base the regular people? But it turns out they sided completely with the hedge funds. You know what I mean? They definitely screwed over their customers in support of 40% of their.
They sell, and they keep talking about selling the trading data, which is a non-issue. It has nothing to do with this, but it's kind of frustrating to watch this. This was supposed to be about what happened that night that they shut down trading. You could tell they just went to talking points of, how dare you let people buy meme stocks, and tell us more about selling your trading data, basically. That's basically what the whole waste of time was about.
Oh, yeah, but that is a good point, that because they sell the data.
They need to get, in my opinion here, because I used to day trade crypto a lot. I did until the IRS found out. And then I was going to have to basically write down every trade I did and convert it from Bitcoin to dollars, whatever. But when I would trade, if I'd want to sell Bitcoin, let's say, I would send Bitcoin to send it to the exchange, which I could get to on my phone. And when I sold it, the exchange would take it, and they would literally give it to the person that bought it. It was that simple. It happened like this. And if I'd go and buy something, I'd go and look and say, oh, this guy's got 1,000 Litecoin. Do you guys for this sale this? I'll buy that. And it would transfer instantly to my account. I could go and put it in my wallet like this. That T+2 that DZ is saying, when you go on Robinhood or whatever, you buy a stock, that stock, it isn't like it's in your account, it's yours. There's kind of a lot that has to happen between then to go and basically even up. And it's usually two days in the rear, I believe. So yeah, they've got to get on the blockchain or something.
We need to cut out the middlemen in society.
Citadel is the clearing firm. Yeah.
Citadel is basically the middleman for Robinhood. Dude, we need to get rid of middlemen in all aspects of society. That's why cars are so expensive. You know what I mean? Like, it's just middlemen are screwing everything up. All right, let's play this shit.
Best.
Yep.
Second, Robinhood immediately secured additional funds, altogether through capital raising and other methods.
Dude, let me say one thing. I don't know why your camera keeps shrinking. I've had to.
I don't know.
It's pissing me off.
Measures we've increased our liquidity by more than $3 billion to cushion ourselves against increased collateral requirements and related market stress in the future. Despite the unprecedented market conditions in January, at the end of the day, what happened is unacceptable to us. To our customers, I'm sorry and I apologize. Please know that we are doing everything we can to make sure this won't happen again.
I want to be perfectly clear. We had no role in Robinhood's decision to limit trading in GameStop or any of the other meme stocks. I first learned of Robinhood's trading restrictions only
because that would be highly illegal.
Yeah, here's the Citadel CEO. It just so happens that we benefited greatly from them limiting the trade and that we own 40% of them, but we had nothing to do with it. Yeah, right. You know? It's like, well, that's a nice coincidence.
I would legit be out of a job. Yeah.
In other words, my hedge fund buddies gave us an additional $3 billion.
Because Vlad talked about how they had to go and raise more capital.
All of us at Circus Securities are committed to the healthy functioning of the U.S. equities markets.
I'm happy to discuss with the committee
my
purchases of GameStop shares and my discussions of their fair value on social media. It is true that my investment in that company multiplied in value many times. For that, I feel enormously fortunate. I also believe the current price of the shares demonstrates that I've been right about the company. A few things I am not. I am not a cat. I am not an institutional investor, nor am I a hedge fund. I do not have clients, and I do not provide personalized investment advice for fees or commissions. I'm just an individual whose investment in GameStop and posts on social media were based upon my own research and analysis. The idea that I use social media to promote GameStop stock to unwitting investors and influence the market is preposterous. My post did not cause the movement of billions of dollars into GameStop shares. It is tragic that some people lost money, and my heart goes out to them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if
but
it
what
did
happened
anyway.
in January just demonstrates again that investing in public securities is extremely risky. As I said earlier, I consider myself and my family fortunate with our investment. When the stock price broke $20 in December, I knew my investment was a success. I was so happy to visit my family in Brockton for the holidays. The money will go such a long way for us. We had an incredibly difficult 2020. Most difficult was the tragic and unexpected loss of my sister Sarah in June. I am grateful to be in a position to give back to and support my family. As for what happened in January, others will have to explain it.
He's known for a long time this was going to rise like this.
Yeah, he made a killing.
Yeah.
I'm proud of him.
Alarming how little we know about the inner workings of the market. And I am thankful that this committee is examining what happened. I also want to say that I support retail investors' right to invest in what they want, when they want.
Yes.
I support the right of individuals to send a message based on how they invest. As for me, I like the stock. I'm as bullish as I've ever been on a potential turnaround for GameStop, and I remain invested in the company.
The market volatility surrounding GameStop and other securities has highlighted how many people feel that the cards are stacked against them, and that market participants, like our witnesses, hide the ball. Mr. Teneve, you explained that Robinhood restricted transactions in certain securities to meet demands coming from your clearinghouse. And yet, on January 28th, you represented to the media that there was no liquidity problem. Isn't it true that being concerned about having enough capital to meet deposit requirements, isn't that a liquidity problem? Or could you just answer yes or no?
Chairwoman Waters, I appreciate the opportunity to address that.
Just yes or no?
We always felt comfortable with our liquidity and the additional capital that Robinhood raised.
Please answer yes or no.
We always felt comfortable with our liquidity.
I don't have time. I just need a yes or no answer.
I stand by my statement. The additional capital we raised wasn't to meet capital requirements or deposit requirements.
Gentlemen,
excuse me.
I'm reclaiming my time.
So as I was trying to explain.
That was great. And also, I can't wait till if I'm ever before Congress for anything, I'll give a corporate answer like that dork did, you know? There's no reason
They're making fun of them. because every question they'd ask him, because what happens is each of these congressmen or senators, they got 5 minutes, and that included getting the answers. So there's two things that would happen. One, they'd always say, "Thank you for the question, Senator. That was a very good question."
Yeah,
and
that's
it's almost
smart.
like they're trying to
Kill
get
their
their
time.
paragraph page to a page homework assignment type of thing.
Yep.
And another thing they do is these senators and congressmen know this, so they wait to ask their hardball question at like 4 minutes and 40 seconds, so they can't get the answer in.
Ugh.
You saw that the whole time. It was
That's
frustrating.
frustrating. Yeah, that's
and you could tell who the Republican was. You could tell who the Democrats were. So the Democrats are all about why would you let people buy these meme stocks? It was an embarrassment.
Is it at $73 right now? That's what DZ Drunk's saying. What the fuck is going to 5 minutes going?
Comes from a community of traders who tend to trade in smaller size.
That isn't my
so
question,
pause it real
sir.
quick. They're asking him basically, if you get an order from Citadel or from who was it? Fidelity, which actually pays for it, or do you if you get an order from Robinhood, do those trades execute at the same time? Do you give priority to one or the other? And he was dodging that pretty good too.
I hear that he's about to get yelled at. That's nice.
Because the Robinhood order comes from a community of traders who tend to trade in smaller size.
That isn't my question, sir. You're evading my question by making up other questions. Let me repeat. 2 identical orders come in. Same stock, same quantity. One's from Robinhood, one's from Fidelity. What happens?
The quality of the execution varies by the channel of the order. This is a commonly understood phenomena in economics that channels matter. So, for example, when you go get a mortgage from JP Morgan to their clientele has a different rate of interest than a mortgage.
Okay, let me reclaiming my time, sir. Who gets the better deal? The one that comes from a broker who is being paid for order flow, and one not. Can you testify that on balance there is no difference, assuming the same size of the order?
Is DZ Drunk saying GameStop's still undervalued right now?
Yeah, you saying that, DZ?
You are doing a great job of wasting my time. If you're going to filibuster, you should run for the Senate.
I was going to start actually with this and ask each one of you why you thought you were here today. But I'm going to dispense with that because it's going to take too much time, and I'll provide the answer. Political theater, for the most part.
Pause it real quick.
That's what this here.
That pissed off Maxine Waters big time. She even basically said he can't say that. Nobody can say that anymore and stuff. But
it obviously is political theater.
Oh, for sure.
All this crap is. No, yeah.
Hearing is today.
Good for this
we're
guy.
On the business channels right now and on C-SPAN. I think if you see a few of my colleagues playing to the cameras, but we need to have some of these fundamental and important questions answered at the end of the day. And one of the assertions that you've heard already today is that investing is, quote, casino gambling. It's using monopoly funny money. I guess I want to know, is individual retail participation in the marketplace gambling, casino gambling, or using funny money? Mr. Gill, why don't we just start with you? Very quickly.
Nothing good, Ned Pepper. Something's going to come out of it.
Hear him.
Make it harder for you to trade.
Mr. Huffman,
that's what's going to happen.
Move to you.
They're going to have a capital requirement.
I believe that investing is investing.
Basically a day trader and stuff.
Melvin Capital ever engaged
you basically have to have $250,000 liquid or $1 million in your net worth type of thing to be a private trader, essentially. They're going to do something like that. They're not going to let college kids download this app anymore.
It's too bad that what comes of this is
anytime the government gets involved, it's bad news, and that should scare anybody because they're terrible at everything they do.
Right, and they just come in with more taxes. That's their solution.
Yeah.
Give the government
brought it
more
up
money.
Numerous times about doing a 1% tax on on trades.
You know, I almost want them to, just because it will destroy the economy further, and they'll get what they deserve.
There's no way this bubble's going to last with this. Yeah, there's just no way.
Unreal. They're basically saying...
Yeah, I see what you're saying. They're basically saying retail too dumb to... Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And there's even someone asked, because Vlad made the point, like, I can't remember the number here, but so I'm make it up. But he says Robinhood users are basically up $35 billion. It's a lot of money. And I don't know if I got the right billion, but it's billions of dollars. Meaning that if you downloaded Robinhood, everyone that downloaded Robinhood and put money in it, they're up in a hole by $35 billion. One of these guys kept asking him, saying, well, would they be up more if they would have put their money in the S&P and just sat there? Like, that's none of your fucking business. That's none of your business. Yeah. If they want to put their money in the S&P, great. But if they don't want to, great.
Right.
Because the S&P's fine. You're not going to hit a home run like deep fucking values did.
Yeah. Adults can buy whatever they want. Jeez. What's this?
Of the stock Tesla?
We have been short Tesla in the past. That's correct.
Mr. Clark, and also, this is a longer question. Sure. Did you see the tweet from Tesla CEO Elon Musk about GameStop stock?
I did see that after market hours on a Tuesday.
Do you believe that Mr. Musk's tweet had any significant effect of driving the rise in GameStop stock?
Yes.
I don't want to speculate on what the actions of his tweet were. The stock did rise after hours.
Let me ask you this, then. Do you believe that that tweet was targeting you because you had shorted Tesla stock in the past?
We had a very small short position years ago in Tesla. That would be pure speculation as to his motives of putting that tweet out.
The stated mission of Robinhood.
They kept asking.
Is the democracy?
What DD saying? Well, they kept asking them. Well, $35 billion, but how much money they put in? If they put in $30 billion, that's great. If they doubled it, but if they put in $1 trillion, that means nothing. I just think that it's none of their business, as far as their congressmen and senators, what people put their money in.
Right, because they were trying.
I'm afraid they're going to restrict our rights to trade based off of this, and they're going to do it as we're protecting you, because you would have just put your money in the S&P, you'd have been better off than putting it in GameStop.
Right, they were trying to make that.
They're probably
point.
Right, but I think that's a risk that. Yeah. We're on the same page. I think that's a risk that adults should be able to take. It's killing the entrepreneurial spirit. They're really trying to make it so you can't take any risks anymore.
And it's not a free market if I can only invest in the S&P.
Yeah.
It's already not a free market. That was made clear by January 6th.
Yeah.
And it's also clear that the SEC doesn't protect anyone except the status quo hedge funds.
Most of the people in the SEC are like ex-hedge fund counsel, like sitting on the chairman's seats and stuff like that anyway.
Right.
They're not there to punish hedge funds and such. It's the opposite.
Even when they break the law, they're just
allow direct settlements to run the markets. Exactly. They need to. Crypto is the best. You'd wake up, you could be trading all day. Christmas Eve, it was the best. That's why we were asking if it was gambling with Monopoly money.
Donating to.
You lost me. I know the Circus Robin will probably be done.
Democratization of finance, but I worry that the real world impact of Robinhood is the democratization of financial addiction. Robinhood has gaming features that seem to manipulate retail traders into making rash and reckless and potentially ruinous investments.
Yeah.
We all know the tragic story of Alexander Kearns.
Yeah, that's what they're going to try to do from this, which is so ridiculous. Yeah, this is the point this dummy's making.
Yeah, he's saying you're getting people addicted to this, and
they can do option trading. Ooh, a retail investor shouldn't be allowed.
They're going to bring up where there was a unfortunate case of a kid that was able to get his hands on too much margin, because you could actually get margin from Robinhood. And there was a kind of mistake. I don't know if it was a mistake in how much margin they gave him, or if they calculate it to show you how much you're up and down constantly. Well, this kid, it looked like he was down like $1 million. Like he owed Robinhood $1 million. And I'm not sure if it was a calculation mistake or if he was just down that much. But yeah, he used the infinite leverage. Yeah, there was some glitch going around. You get as much people I don't know. Leverage is basically just borrowing from them with a fee, and he killed himself, and they're probably from that. But of course, these guys aren't going to let a good tragedy go to waste. They brought him up over and over and over.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's see what he says.
According to a memo from the Financial Services Committee, there's one feature in particular that encourages retail investors to tap on the Robinhood app up to 1,000 times a day in order to improve their position on the wait list for Robinhood highly coveted cash management feature. Do you share my concern that a retail trader tapping on a Robinhood app 1,000 times a day is a sign of addiction?
Congressman, that particular feature that you're discussing was to get access to our debit card plus high yield savings product, which is one of the many features targeting passive investors that we've rolled out over the past.
Mr. Tanev, 1,000 times a day? You are encouraging your customers
arbitrary
to tap on an app.
Arbitrary amount he made out, by the way.
Oh, is it? Because I was just about to say, I've never heard of this, but I kind of like his point here. If they've got some stupid, they're trying to make you tap on the thing 1,000 times.
What they're saying is that the more you use the app, the more likely you are, because you get in line basically for this card, and you get jump the line by like recruiting, like referring other people to it, that sort of stuff. And I think what he's saying is you jump the line for using this. So if you would theoretically tap this 1,000 times, I'm guessing they're saying it's going to move you up in a line. We'll see what Vlad says.
All right.
1,000 times a day? That to me is a sign of addiction, and it worries me that you fail to see it in the same light.
Congressman, we didn't encourage anyone to tap on anything. To get access to the debit card, people were placed on a wait list, and we wanted to give our customers delightful features so that they know that we're listening to them and that we care about them. And this is just one example of how we add great features that customers love to our products.
Addictive trading might be bad for your customers, but it's not. But it's good for Robinhood. Addictive trading means more trading, and more trading means more money for Robinhood. There's a sense in which Robinhood monetizes addiction. You make money from the quantity.
You know what? I love that Vlad just decided to use this whole thing as a commercial for Robinhood.
He did.
He just doesn't.
That's a bad thing about having the Zoom shit rather than live. You could tell one of them, the Citron guy, is reading something above the camera, basically just written by his lawyer.
I'm sure. Let's see what they said here.
To do it, you would sell in the money call, because they do give you money right away. Robinhood will. If you're in gold, if you sell something, they give you that money right away to buy something else.
I see.
Put for credit, and Robinhood would calculate the wrong and add the credit to your balance. Then Robinhood would give you 2 times the margin depending on your balance. We would then keep selling calls or puts. I got ya.
Okay, so that would be nice to have.
Yeah, this is a way back then that you could basically get a ton of buying power, basically. More than you had in your account.
Well, here's what Ned Pepper said. Yep, here we go. Robinhood is dangerous and addicting and is screwing people over. So now Congress will step in to protect the little guy.
So people see, I think, what happened when GameStop was taking off, and due to a bunch of bullshit, it crashed. That's why when the people knew deep down that it wasn't right. So when the government gets in the way, libertarians, people that have been here before, people that see history repeating itself, knows that they're going to make the problem worse.
Right, exactly. So, and that's what he said. He says they'll come in to protect the little guy, which will end up just arbitrarily shutting out the little guy. That's how they protect him, by not letting him trade. You know what I mean? And you're totally right. That's exactly what we know that will happen. That's what the government always does.
If you want to trade, just go put it into your 401k through your employer.
Yeah, just ask your hedge fund what they want you to buy into.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I hate to say it. Listening to these pathetic excuses of people that we have as representatives made me start taking the side of these corrupt douches that got out of.
Yeah,
it was hard.
No kidding. I'm over here. Yeah, I feel the same way.
They had one lady that I don't think she made it on this on this video, but she was from Cato, which is a think tank, which is more of a libertarian one. She seemed to be the only person that really knew what the fuck was going on, and she did a great job.
Oh, I'd like to hear her.
Yeah.
Dark Sage says, have a serious question. What's up, Dark Sage? He's got a question. Well, there's only 2 minutes left in this video.
Yeah, should we play it out?
Yeah.
The next one's hilarious.
Rather than the quality of trading. I want to.
Earlier, one of my colleagues, Representative San Nicolas, said that Robinhood owes its customers a lot more than an apology. And I happen to agree with him. I believe that the decisions made by you and this company have harmed your customers. Mr. Tenev, would you be willing to commit today to voluntarily pass on the proceeds of the payment for order flow to Robinhood customers?
Congresswoman, I appreciate that question. When
See what stand there?
When the statement,
I missed it.
So they make their money by selling order flow. She's basically saying, how about you pass on that to your customers? You should give the money you make from order flows to your customers. They're in this because of the issues they have with their liquidity. That's the whole reason this happened. And this idiot is saying that they should give their proceeds, their income, their anything over to the traders.
Right. Well, Walmart, you make money by selling groceries. Shouldn't you give that money back to people buying groceries?
What she's saying.
Every business. Someone needs to tell her what a business is.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible.
You refer to was made, I believe 2015 or 2016. It was before Robinhood forced the entire industry to drop commissions and replicate our business model, which made payments.
So is that I should take that as a no. You're not willing to pass on the proceeds of payment for order flow to your customers?
We're not just going to give money.
When the other brokers dropped.
I'm just talking about today, right now.
Payment for order flow, Congresswoman, allows for commission-free trading. In the context of trading commissions,
it's a great answer by him.
It's a much larger source of revenue in the past than payment.
Mr. Tenev, I apologize, and I don't want to be rude. I just have limited time. But if removing the revenues that you make from a payment for order flow would cause the removal of free commissions, doesn't that mean that trading on Robinhood isn't actually free to begin with? Because you're just hiding the cost in terms of potentially poor execution or the cost of lost rebates to your customers.
They're closed now, so that's what you can go. You sure go to. I don't know which one's even so many people are copying this because it works so well. But I'm sure there's firms that will not sell your order flow and cost you $7 a trade, and there's probably a good argument to be made to go to that route. How about we let people decide which ones they want to do?
Yeah, exactly. Because when I make a trade on Robinhood, I don't give them any money. That feels like it's free to me. I understand that maybe they're selling on the back end, and I could go choose to pay $7 at TD Ameritrade or wherever else, but I'm choosing the one that where I'm not giving them any money for a trade.
If until this happened, I loved using Robinhood, and I know nothing's free. That's why I hate when people will say like, "God, I just think in a time like right now, we should have X be free." Nothing is free. Nothing is free. We know this. We now know what the cost is of using Robinhood. If Robinhood didn't have pulled this stunt, I would be a big fan of Robinhood, and I wouldn't leave. I'd say I know my order flow is being sold. It's not that important to me because of the type of trading I do.
Right.
Yep.
Well, this has 30 seconds left. Let's finish this video, and then I'll read Dark Sage's question.
So certainly, Congresswoman, Robinhood is a for-profit business and needs to generate some revenue to pay for the costs of running this business. People were initially skeptical that the model, even with payment for order flow, would work when you remove commissions. And I think we've proven that otherwise by making this the standard model by which brokerages operate now.
I see.
I see. You do not.
Okay, well, let's read this comment, Garrett. I am very disturbed by the constant comparisons of world events like COVID and the migrant crisis to Nazi Germany and the Holocaust. I'm not sure what people's fascination is with those two events in history and how they relate to the major world issues of today. I have heard world leaders say climate change is as bad as the Holocaust, for example. Maybe I'm not understanding. How come it seems whenever something in the world happens like major crisis, you see and hear comparisons to Nazi Germany and the Holocaust always being brought up?
God, who knows now with Gina Carano? I mean, she did the same thing that's been done, like Dark Sage is saying. It's been done you hear that every time. I mean, how many things have you heard compared to Nazi Germany? And she did it, and all of a sudden now she's anti-Semitic and terrible. So I wonder if we're going to keep seeing that. Is that the death? Is that the death of that? Is that dead now? Like the Me Too movement died by Joe Biden?
No, not from that. No, it's not dead at all. People will still do it. But one reason is, Nazi Germany and Hitler. Yeah, it's extreme and it epitomizes evil. And then when you see things that start to happen that they were doing, it's like a canary in a coal mine. It's real easy to say, hey, that's just like Nazi Germany. It's not good to limit freedom of speech. This isn't Nazi Germany. Like
there's some Muslims in a camp and rape their wives.
Right, like China's doing to the Uyghurs. So there's a lot of good reasons to compare things to Nazi Germany and the Holocaust, but then it's also used kind of flippantly to say, anything and everything is Nazis now, so.
Punch a Nazi. You wouldn't punch a Nazi if you could?
Yeah.
Oh, by Nazi, I mean anyone that slightly disagrees.
Yeah, anyone who doesn't agree with everything I say must be a Nazi. So.
Yeah, I think it's a good conversation.
I've also heard leaders compare to the migrant crisis of today to the Jewish people in Europe in the early years, which in my opinion is not a fair comparison. Yeah, I mean, it's easy for them to make not fair comparisons with it, and that's why people do it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
God, speaking of,
I like the question.
Do we play the clip of Biden reading off basically the talking points from the CCP?
Yeah, we should. So
if you want to know
this applies to
the
what you're saying
dollar
right now.
Plummeted when it looked like Trump was a sure thing to win the presidency, you're gonna see right here.
Yeah, because Biden is team
or
China.
take their organs without anesthesia.
So this was at the most recent town hall, February 16th.
Chinese leaders, if you know anything about Chinese history, it has always been the time when China has been victimized by the outer world is when they haven't been unified at home. So vastly overstated, the central principle of Xi Jinping is that there must be a united, tightly controlled China. And he uses his rationale for the things he does based on that. I point out to him, no American president can be sustained as a president if he doesn't reflect the values of the United States. And so the idea, I'm not going to speak out against what he's doing in Hong Kong, what he's doing with the Uyghurs in western mountains of China, and Taiwan trying to end the one China policy by making it forceful. I said, and by the way, he said he gets it. Culturally, there are different norms at each country, and their leaders are expected to follow.
Was he asked about the concentration camps in China?
No, I think it was more about Hong Kong.
Oh, okay. Well, that's also
right. Yeah, I mean, it's grow a backbone. Holy shit.
So, for people that don't know,
how is this not being blasted on our 24-hour fear porn news stations?
Oh, they're busy bashing Trump. I was actually really shocked when I saw a CNN article that fact-checked Biden's town hall and pointed out his inaccuracies. I've never seen them do anything negative about Biden. I mean, that shocks me.
Yeah, I'm sure they bent over backwards and twisted themselves into pretzels like they always do with those, though.
I'm surprised to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's something that applies to what he just said about backing China. See this? Okay, so these are Uyghur children who were taken from their parents.
Oh, no.
And do you know what they're saying?
Oh, no.
They're saying, China is my mother. I love China.
God, I wish you didn't show me that.
My mother is China. We love our mother. We love China. So think about indoctrination, you know. This is some serious indoctrination, brainwashing. And
I'm surprised Twitter let people tweet that out, actually.
Yeah, they'll probably censor it soon. But see, this says this is from Uyghur children who are forcefully separated from their parents and then ordered to chant this shit. So creepy.
Holy shit.
And there's video of like blindfolded Uyghurs getting loaded onto trains.
Oh, it's definitely
Have you seen that?
Concentration camps.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that with probably more rape.
So,
And
okay.
There's a ton of rape going on.
And look how much that is compared to Nazi Germany, which is exactly what kind of Dark Sage was asking. But we should make that comparison, you know?
Especially here. Yeah, especially here where there's actually legit concentration camps.
So it's a great comparison to have and to
And the
make
world
when it
leaders
applies. It's
don't
just that
have any
everyone
balls.
applies it to everything.
They don't have any balls to do anything about this.
I know.
Especially when we have, who was it? Was it Maxine Waters? Who was it that their driver was actually a Chinese spy for 20 years? Spy. It was her handler.
Yeah,
It was Feinstein,
that wasn't
right?
Maxine. Yeah, it was Feinstein.
Yeah. Feinstein had her handler from the CCP driving her around for 20 years. 20 fucking years.
Yep. And Eric Swalwell was sleeping with a Chinese spy, and he got promoted. He's on like
Where
more
is the
committees
media
now.
on this?
They probably work for China. I mean, it's that weird.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, China's winning right now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, Nate, we don't have time for a conspiracy theory. We got a quick one we could do. We could do talk about the snow in Texas. We need to just do a conspiracy segment again soon.
Yeah, I know. I almost want to, just because we're talking about Biden's town hall, I almost want
Feel
to show
free.
where
We still have some time. We're only 22 minutes over this time, but we still have time.
Just because we probably won't talk about his town hall again, but he said some racist shit that's getting him into hot water right now. And
how many? I mean, this guy obviously has got a degree of dementia. It could be argued how much of a degree, but he's got dementia. And it's funny how he can't keep his racist feelings to himself. They come out over and over and over.
Yeah, he's actually racist,
Yes.
and like a really old
not
guy.
The fake kind. Yeah.
Right.
Not just the racist for being white. He's actually racist.
Yeah, and he can't help but accidentally spew it out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And this is a great example right here. Also, this is from the amazing Lucas. He talks about it. I don't know if we have time to, but he basically sums up pretty nicely.
Register. Not everybody in the community.
But let's just watch this.
In the Hispanic and the African American community, particularly in rural areas that are distant and/or inner city districts, know how to get online to determine how to get in line for that COVID vaccination at the Walgreens or at
Racism by low expectations, which is so endemic in the Democrat Party. It is so common. These poor minorities can't do anything unless I help them, unless I change my profile picture to a fist. They can't help themselves.
Oh man!
God,
But
there's a guy that goes into like New York and asking people, so do you agree with Obama? So do you agree with Biden when he says that minorities have trouble getting in line for the vaccine, and or for getting online to get a voter identification, basically any of those. And then it's full of white people going, I absolutely think so. They're in the ghettos and they don't have access to computers and good internet, and they can't spend the money to get their driver's license and their IDs.
How do people
and then
think
they go into the ghetto and go, hey, there's some white people over here saying that you guys don't know how to get online and figure out how to get the vaccine. What? I've been online my whole life. That's easy to do. And they'll ask them, do you know anyone that doesn't have a driver's license or ID? No, I couldn't tell you a single person.
Right. This is their racism, man. And like his point here of black people and Mexicans can't use the internet it's just it's exactly what he said, I'll guarantee you, in 1955 about something. Where black people don't know how to do that. Not wanting his kids to go to a racial jungle. Right, isn't that what he called it? Yeah. And then all the old bastards he was talking to agreed with him real quickly, and he still thinks that. He thinks black people don't have a computer. You know, there's a video of an African American guy watching this, and he picks up his laptop and doesn't know what to do with it, so he just lays down and starts rolling around. I love it. They are kind of starting to make fun of him for this. Okay, so that's one racist thing Joe said. Here's another racist thing at this town hall that he says. And this one's even more racist.
If you want to know where the American public is, look at the money being spent on advertising. Did you ever 5 years ago think every second or third ad out of 5 or 6 you'd turn on would be biracial couples? No, I'm not being facetious. The reason I'm so hopeful is this new generation. They're not like us. They're thinking differently. They're more open. And we got to take advantage of it. They're not like us. Isn't that him admitting that he's racist? So. Isn't he saying, like, hey, audience, all of us are against interracial couples, but these young people aren't. It's like, what the fuck? Yep. It's hilarious to me, man. Yeah. They're not like us. Okay. But boy, he's got his first real challenge with what's going on in Texas right now. Can you imagine if this was Trump, what they'd be saying and everything? He's just doing nothing, which I'm not a big federal government guy anyway, but let's just hold people to the same standards. It's hilarious how the different standards this guy's held to. Oh, of course. I mean, I just expect outright hypocrisy from the left every time. Yep. And I'm never disappointed. Yeah. Yep. Okay, that's all I wanted to show, Garrett. What do you think? Should we do what do you think? Should we we have a lot to cover here. Do we get ended on? So we've been showing people how the Zoom crap is not going good because it's a terrible replacement for in person. But should we show them the Too Woke video? I don't know if you've even seen this one. I haven't seen it. Yeah, let's show it though. So as we know, the Cleveland Indians are no longer Cleveland Indians. Washington Redskins no longer Washington Redskins. So that's heating up. All right, thank you so much. This speaks for itself. You can play this out. All right, here we go.
Cameron, let's now welcome Cole Hirsch.
Hi, how are you? I wrote a little pitch, if I could read through that.
Please.
Dear Saddleback College, let's face it, our mascot, the Gaucho, is racist, and it's time for him to be murdered. Anyway, I have just the idea for a new progressive mascot for your school. Her name is Titty Pussy, and she's a woke, sloppy goblin girl who rides around the campus on sweat-stained roller skates and begs each student to come out as bi. If a student refuses to do so, Titty Pussy will let out a shriek that has the frequency to change the student's body hair to strawberry blonde. Then Titty Pussy will say, "Tough break, straighty. Have fun sticking out like a sore thumb should you ever visit a beach in Palestine." At sporting events, instead of displaying kiss cams on the Jumbotron, Titty Pussy will instead screen promos for her OnlyFans, which mainly consists of her getting off to the school flag. During halftime, Titty Pussy will do her signature dance move.
They're letting him do it.
Block and swap it, where she'll make the team swap mouth guards to reassure the fans that none of the players are homophobic. If either team refuses, she'll take a knee for the rest of the game, right in the middle of the field. So
I support
thank you for
this.
Your time, and I hope you can consider Titty Pussy.
Thank you, Cole. Let's go ahead and welcome Chloe Johnson.
It just goes on.
I love just how like soft spoken he was. Hi, I have a presentation for you guys.
That was great. Dude, we need more stuff like that. Just more ridiculous wokeness.
Just making fun of this. It's great.
If everyone on the team doesn't declare themselves bi, the mascot will kneel in the middle of the field. He said something like that. That's great.
Do what else we can do really quick. So Texas, of course, everyone knows it's terrible. There's a lot of bad stuff. But Texas doesn't see snow very much, and it's confusing a lot of people. There's a giant conspiracy theory right now that's kind of picking up steam that the snow in Texas isn't real. So tons of people are bringing it inside and trying to light it on fire and try to melt it. And I quick found a couple videos to show people doing that.
Okay.
One poor gentleman, I didn't find this one in time, but he actually took snow, put it in a big metal pot, put it in his microwave, and goes, the snow is crackling.
Oh my gosh.
And it was the metal, of course.
Is he hilarious?
No, he thought it was real.
That would be good trolling though. You know what I mean?
It would be hilarious.
Put metal in there. It's like the snow.
Yeah, but I don't think this is trolling.
Okay, so there's a conspiracy that the snow in Texas isn't snow.
Yep.
Isn't real snow.
Yep.
All right.
Here's one of the videos. They're all over. Like you'll find tons of videos of this now.
Experiment that we saw. Something fishy about our snow. I know you think I'm a conspiracy theorist, but explain to me this one.
Doesn't melt. It burns.
Oh, just show him.
Okay.
I know you think we're weird, but something funny is going on. That should melt, correct? Logical, it would be melting. It does not melt. It does not melt, and it turns black like we're burning it. So that snow,
it's like man-made.
We think is like artificial snow, and they've treated it with something. So I believe the storm that's come through.
There's no dripping at all.
Is a man-made storm that was.
Nothing is dripping.
Probably sent here on purpose.
Almost like.
So they're not alone in this belief.
Well, I'm trying to think. I've never tried to melt a snowball with a candle, so I can't say. You know what I mean?
Kobe's an actual conspiracy. Yeah. I mean, we've just got to go to nuclear power. The only real byproduct is heat. It's safe. I know people have seen Chernobyl and stuff, but it's changed a lot.
Is it weird that this snowball is blackening and not melting?
No, because here's the thing a lot of people don't understand about candles. A lot of people don't know what the wax is on a candle. That's not to make it burn slower. That's the fuel. That's what's actually burning. I mean, you'll see people like a troll that will show like a really long wick, and down here it's supposed to collect the wax, and then like you just turn it around, then you got another candle. It's an infinite candle. And people on the internet are like, oh yeah, it works, sounds great. The wax is the fuel. That's what's slowly burning. So that's carbon on the snow essentially from the burnt wax.
Okay.
If you burnt yourself with a candle or put your finger over it, it blackens. That's not due to just like burnt dense
So
skin.
are you saying if they used like a grill lighter instead of that candle, would the snow not blacken in that case?
There'd still be carbon with that too, because you have butane in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's got a compact snow that's compact a bunch, which water has a very high specific heat, and I mean, snow holds water too, even when it melts. And a lot of times what it does is it melts and then it refreezes in actual ice rather than snow. But there's another one there too where they talk about it.
Let's play that one.
Okay, so I've seen weird things about snow being fake
And I can
snow
find you
and not
hundreds of
melting,
these,
but
right?
turning black.
Really?
We already tried it off camera.
So this conspiracy is taken off.
Yep. People are putting in their
Did what I
ovens
saw
right
in
now.
other
and
videos. I
stuff.
can't believe it. You need to watch it. We're not cutting. We're doing this whole thing. Here's a pile of snow. All right. It came from my little sunroof thingy here. Here's a candle. Like, yeah, this thing, we had to cut it off. I'm grabbing snow. It's super fluffy feeling. Almost fluffier than I can make a snowball with. But here I am. Snowball. Are you still having my hand in it? Yeah. So they see it's the same one. Okay, snowball, right? Candle, regular candle. Putting the snowball over it. It should be melting. Kevin, can you get to show them that it's not melting? It is not melting. It is blackening the snowball. What the hell is this?
I love it.
Yeah. So you can find tons of those. There's some really funny ones too, but.
Okay. Well.
All right. I think, so today's Thursday. We really should try getting a weekend show where we do the YouTube channel deep dive. The new SMG.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that Saturday.
Yeah. All right, so every Monday, every Thursday at 10 o'clock, we're going to go. If for some reason we can't go live, we're going to try to cut up some stuff that we think is interesting in our old shows and stuff, and we'll show that instead. But I think we're going to be there for at least 95% of the shows. Yeah. So Monday, Thursdays, 10 o'clock, we'll be live for sure. We're going to try doing a weekend show once in a while too. And I think we should really make an attempt. For people that are kind of newer following us, we found a really weird YouTube channel. It didn't have many followers that were leaving clues that you'd have to have like Tor browsers to get into. And it was really fun, but their channel got deleted. And go watch our deep dive video on our Twitch or YouTube page for the SMG deep dive. That'll get you caught up.
Yeah.
And then hopefully this weekend we'll go in and do a show where we just go into the new one. We think the same people made a different channel in posting videos. So we're going to go do a deep dive. So it's a different format than these shows. We don't really go over the topics. We don't have our segments. We basically do a deep dive on that and talk about it.
In the link. Let's see.
Are you thinking about for our deep dive one?
Yeah.
It'll be our old. It's probably the Nate Garrett show, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we're on our second YouTube channel, guys. We got basically banned or whatever.
Oh, here's the update we did.
So the deep dive, watch the deep dive and the update, both a month ago. Basically, our last two videos there. It's a long one.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it's
this one.
pretty interesting.
So here, I'll link it in the chat and said, well, first. Okay, so that's the first one.
Yep.
Well, I think it was a good show, Garrett.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. We're excited. We're actually on a schedule now, so you guys will know when we're going live.
Yeah.
And thanks, guys. It was a fun show.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for chatting. It was fun. All right, later, y'all.
Yeah, had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. Truth bombs that many never knew. We talking politics, everything up to the moon. Was the landing real or fake? I guess you'll never know. Let's talk, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, yeah. So lend me your ear, let's get it poppin'. You know that we keep it live, non-stoppin'. Educating, entertain, there ain't no doubt. After you listen, you'll be thinking way outside the box. From media dishonesty, never let them play you. Keep it authentic nowadays, many can't do. Unfiltered is how we do it. Make sure you stay locked in and tuned in, let's go. Had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. The Nate and Garrett Show.